Good morning, everyone. It is day 7 of the Poses with Purpose Challenge. Regina and I are excited to be here again. We're doing 10 days, and each day builds on the last. And it's just been a really beautiful journey. I think both of us are getting to know each other better through this journey. I'm getting to learn a lot from her, and I know that the families that are tagging in and other people that are tagging in have said just how much they appreciate the flow of what we're doing. So today we're going to be adding a new one to the mix. And, and so we're on to day 7. And the one that the pose that Regina picked out for today, I loved it when she sent me everything, because you get to see kind of like all the meanings hidden behind each of them. And this one is the upward facing dog. I was sort of excited because I didn't know a lot about like the different poses in yoga, and I knew downward dog and upward facing dog. And I think I know sun. What's the one? Sun salutation? Is there one?
Yeah, it's actually, there's a couple of them. There's
a couple of them. So that's about as much as I knew. So I'm learning all new kinds of things here in terms of ways you can do this. I might have heard a warrior too as well. But anyway, but I wanted to share this morning as we talk about the upward facing dog, because what it does is it's meant to create flexibility, openness in life, and smooth transitions in life. And it made me just immediately think of, and I had shared this a little bit with Regina yesterday, but it made me think of a story about my 2 boys again, because they're so different. But when they were little, probably like Brian was 6 and David was 4. And I said to Brian, what are you going to be when you grow up? And Brian goes, I'm going to be a basketball player and a football player and a fireman and a policeman and a Power Ranger in my spare time. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I thought, wow, this boy's going to go out and just tackle the world, right? And then David's sitting there really quiet. And I said to David, so David, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he goes, bigger. And I was like, it was just the sweetest moment. But at the same time, I went, oh my God, this kid's going to be 33 years old and still living in my basement. And it's never going to end, right? And so I laugh about it, because what's interesting about that is it sort of not that Brian lives in my basement, so I don't want to say the flip happened, because it didn't happen. Neither one of them live in my basement. But in fact, they're both doing really, really well. But what was interesting is that Brian did want to do like this and that, and was always looking for the next thing. And I even shared that a little bit about, and he couldn't make up his mind. And so like for him, life sometimes get really stressful because he couldn't make decisions. And for David, he just flows with life. And he definitely is the embodiment of just that openness in life and allowing it to flow. And I can even remember Brian saying one time, it was just the funniest thing, because he watched David as both dealing with the same situation, but how one handled it and how the other one handled it, right? And Brian used to say, oh my God, I just want to live in David's world because it's so much nicer than mine. And and I think, but that's what we get to choose, right, as we go through life. And so as Regina does this post today, it's really about standing in that awareness. It's not about a judgment, right? It's not like that Brian's different and better, or David's different and better. It's that it's about standing in the awareness of how you choose to move forward in your life. And so as she does this post today, which I think is one that I just love, really, you're going to see that this is where the openness and the smooth transitions and all of that can happen. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Regina to share the upward facing dog and all of the other poses that we've done so far. So good morning, Regina.
Morning. How are you, Cheryl?
I'm good.
Be here, and good morning, everyone. So happy that everyone's joining us who's here, and those that are watching the replay later. We're so happy you're on this journey with us. And yes, life does present quite a few transitions, doesn't it? And the beauty of transition poses is that they in themselves are poses. So what's so wonderful about yoga and the world of meditation and mindfulness is that we can either do what we call a flow, a vinyasa flow, where there's a series of poses, or we can break them down as we're doing now and allowing each pose, each asana to stand on its own. So what I wanted us to do today was spend a little bit of time learning about upward facing dog, because it is such a beautiful pose. And I often think of a groundhog when I'm practicing upward facing dog. And the reason is because it just reminds me of this fullness of life, of being open and being curious and inquisitive about what's next. versus closed off and, you know, maybe a little bit fearful. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come down to our bellies and lay flat on the ground. And when you're on the ground, you can actually bring your hands underneath of you, just like a pillow, and then press your feet together so that your feet are nice and close. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. Again, nice big deep breath in. And exhale out your mouth. Beautiful. And this time we're going to take our hands to our breastbone and we're going to lift up and take a nice deep breath in. And then exhale as you rise, coming up to upward facing dog. This is also known sometimes as upward cobra or high cobra. There's a lot of different names sometimes for the same poses. And what's wonderful about this pose is we want to actually scoop our shoulders towards the floor. So really making sure that the shoulders are not, as we call them, stuck in the ears. So pressing into the fingertips and then pressing down into the thighs, pressing down into the tops of the feet, and allowing yourself to really open up here, maybe opening your heart and your head back towards the back wall, and then come down and feeling the extension in your low back as well as your high back. If you do have back problems, please be gentle here and notice that if this is anything that doesn't feel good, please don't do it. Just refrain from the pose overall. But there are some modifications that we can talk about in just a few moments. So again, let's take a nice deep breath in. Exhale as you rise up. And then if you want to, you can even, this is another pose actually, bringing your head back behind you. Beautiful. So for those that need a modification, what I really like is just to come to child's pose, bring your belly in between your legs, draw your head down, and then just rise up through the fingertips and open up here. So this is a great modification that you can practice if you have any challenges in your low back. And really allowing this whole area here, the diaphragm, the belly, and the abdomen to really be supported here. So this pose, even though it might be a little uncomfortable in the beginning, it's really good for engaging the muscles and really strengthening the core, and then as well as opening the heart. And so this also deals with communication, just like we spoke about yesterday with baby cobra. And it's also, like we talked about, transitions and being open to life, being open to change. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to start from the beginning. And we're going to do a nice flow here to go from day 1 to day 7. So again, thanks for joining us and just being mindful with wherever you're at. So bring your feet together, arms up overhead. Take a nice deep breath in through your belly and up through your chest. Arms up overhead, taking a side bend, or excuse me, a back bend or back arch, standing arch. Beautiful. And then bringing your hands to your heart. Beautiful. And then bringing your body to warrior 2. We're going to bend that front leg, straighten the back, arms nice and strong, pressing belly towards your spine. Lift the heart, lift the chest, and smile. And then if you'd like, you can rotate the hands. Beautiful. We're going to take the right hand back behind us for revolved triangle. And then again, if you'd like to get a little deeper into the stretch, opening the side body here, you can actually take left hand to right knee for a deeper revolved triangle here. Beautiful. And then come back to center, arms up overhead. And then we're going to come to extended triangle. We just straighten that front leg and then arms up overhead. Take a nice deep breath. Beautiful. And arms back to center. And then we're going to come down to the floor and then we'll do the other side. So coming to locust, that was our day 5, right? So coming to locust. And then hands at the breastbone, come up for baby cobra. And for baby cobra, you just lift your chest. And then for upward dog, you come up a little deeper into your stretch. And again, only do what feels good to you. And then here you can take a child's pose. I'm going to stand up, come back, to standing arch, more back bend, hands at your heart. I like to close my eyes and just draw my energy in. And then when I'm ready, I come to warrior two, bending the left leg or the opposite leg, making sure to smile, because warriors, graceful warriors smile. And then you can always take it back here if you want to do reverse warrior, but we'll stick with the plan. And then we come to triangle here and then revolve triangle. And then extended side angle. Beautiful. Back to center. And then down to the floor, coming to locust. And then hands at your sides, come to cobra. And then upward facing dog. Beautiful. And that concludes day 7. Thanks so much for joining us on the Poses with Purpose Challenge. We're so happy you're here, and we look forward to hearing your success stories. See you tomorrow.